Jake Voskuhl and the UConn Huskies are back home at the Hartford Civic Center tonight, trying to erase the memory of a miserable Monday night at the Carrier Dome. It was a game the Huskies wish they could forget. Dominated at both ends of the floor by a Syracuse team which seized the moment and the jugular. Tonight, UConn faces the Providence Friars, wary of the upset and looking to clear the slate. It's been 3 years since UConn lost back-to-back games. Tonight, the defending national champions will try to avoid that fate. We are at the Hartford Civic Center, where the Providence Friars meet the 6th-ranked Connecticut Huskies. And as we check the latest Big East standings, an unusual sight. UConn, who has won 5 of the last 6 regular season titles, finds itself looking up at 7 teams in the standings. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Ron Perry. Thanks so much for joining us for Big East basketball. No matter where you went in Connecticut the last 3 days, the question at the water cooler was the same. What in the world's the matter with UConn? Well, Ron, I answered the question by saying, I don't know, but I'll ask Ron Perry the next time I see him.
Well, I'm glad you tracked me down. UConn's been a little bit out of sync. Last couple of ball games, they've lost 2 of their last 3, St. John's and Syracuse. They need to pick up their defensive intensity in their work on the boards. It was really evident in the Syracuse game. The backboard work just wasn't there. Syracuse was all over the glass, particularly at the offensive end, grabbing 25 offensive rebounds. Connecticut's got to get back after it defensively. They've got to block out and keep people off the backboards in this one and get back to their trademark basketball.
Now, after winning its Big East opener against Georgetown, Providence has lost its last 4, but the Friars may have found something Sunday against West Virginia.
Well, I think Tim Welsh did. Freshman forward Ramil Augustin really stepped up in this game with 21 big points and set career highs for field goals made, attempted, as well as 3-point field goals made. They'll need more of his basketball today, shooting the ball from the perimeter and really getting after it.
On Monday against Syracuse, UConn's Khalid El-Amin was just 3 for 13. Will he follow up that game with a big one? He often does. Back with the starting lineups at opening tip from the Hartford Civic Center after this. The 4th meeting between UConn and Providence. Let's quickly check the starting lineups for the visiting Friars. Kareem Shabazz, the transfer from Florida State, appearing in his 10th game tonight, had a triple-double earlier this season, the first at Providence in 22 years. And for the UConn Huskies, Jake Voskuhl will be making the 119th start of his career. That is a UConn record. Voskuhl coming off a career-high 19 in the loss to Syracuse on Monday. Voskuhl will jump it up with Aaron Maxey. John Clougherty will throw the ball up. He's working tonight's game with Jody Sylvester and Bob Donato. And quickly, UConn with the ball, and Providence starts out man-to-man, Ron.
Yeah, they've got to try to put some pressure on Connecticut in the backcourt, play some tough man and box out. Providence does play consistent defense. Their problem has been shooting the ball this year.
Albert Mooring defended by Dante Wade. Left side, Freeman puts it on the floor, goes by Maxey, and draws the foul in the lane on the Friars. Tim Welsh in his 2nd season as coach at Providence. He guided the Friars to an NIT appearance last year. And his counterpart, Jim Calhoun, the 10th winningest active Division I coach in America and the winningest coach in UConn history. The foul was on Wade. Inbound pass to Albert Mooring, who is 2nd in the Big East in 3-point shooting percentage. El-Amin, now Providence works the trap for the first time. UConn finds the open man, Mooring, and Voskuhl with a good job cleaning up inside, and the foul.
Jake Voskuhl's been playing very good basketball of late for the UConn Huskies, coming off a career-high 19 points against Syracuse. And prior to that, he had 18 points and 16 rebounds. A career-high against St. John's. Nice, strong move inside right here. Bob, we talked about offensive rebounding as Shabazz hits him with the body, and Connecticut getting on the board with some good offensive rebounding to start.
Voskuhl at the free throw line misses his first attempt of the evening. He's a solid 80.4% shooter from the charity stripe this year. So Providence with its first possession and UConn in its trademark man-to-man defense.
Both teams getting right after it, man-to-man style. Both teams really get after it and don't give you a lot of clean, open looks. For Providence, Bob, they've got to find a way to shoot effectively in this game to get into it.
Down low at Shabazz, working on Voskuhl. Got some weak side help from Saunders, and Voskuhl clears the rebound, but nobody home on the outlet pass.
Jake left his feet on that one, and as a result, he had nowhere to go with it. He had to release it and turned it over.
Now, interestingly, UConn does not have its point guard, Elamine, on Rogers, the Providence point guard. It's Mooring on Rogers and Elamine on Wade.
Wade, the better shooter.
Oh, pretty move by Shabazz inside.
Shabazz, really a guy that stepped up nicely. The transfer from Florida State.
Mooring in transition finds Voskuhl, who juggles it, comes back to Mooring. Top of the circle, Freeman, defended by Aaron Maxey, who's been Providence's best player this year. Lobs it down low to Saunders, who finds Voskuhl. Can't get the jump hook to fall, and Shabazz with the rebound.
Shabazz, if you're just tuning in for Providence, is 7-2 in the middle. He takes up some space. He's a good defensive rebounder for the Friars.
Wells told me yesterday that Shabazz has been bothered by the flu of late. He's lost 10 pounds. He really didn't play very well Sunday against West Virginia.
I think it's the last three, Bob. I think the Rutgers game where he was really hit by it hard. You can tell he's lost some weight out there.
Shot clock inside 10, and the pass into the post is picked off by Freeman. Providence has had its problems this year taking care of the basketball. Freeman in the lane with the jumper. No good, and the rebound pulled down by Shabazz. Freeman, Ron, back starting at the 4 spot tonight. At the 3 spot, I should say, because Edmund Saunders has regained, at least for the moment, his starting job.
Exactly. Well, I think Jim Calhoun's saying, I got to get my 2 top forwards out there in Freeman and in Saunders. Oh, nice shot from the perimeter.
Augustin with the 3-pointer, coming off a career-high 21 last Sunday against West Virginia. Elamine with the great penetration. Saunders can't finish. Rebound Shabazz.
Just one and you're done right now for the Huskies. Again, they need to get some more white jerseys under the basket to reel in some rebounds.
3 rebounds already for number 3 Shabazz, and the Friars turn it over again. So Saunders to inbound as we look at Jim Calhoun's club, which has lost 3 games in the Big East already. Have not lost 2 in a row since they lost 5 straight at the end of the 96-97 season. That was the last time UConn did not go to the NCAA tournament, although they went to the semifinals of the NIT.
Seems like a long time ago. That's the consistent ball that the Huskies have been playing.
Elamine back rims the 3, and Jody Sylvester will get a foul away from the play, and it will be on Saunders, number 1 on Edmond and 1 on the Huskies, who are 1 of 6 from the floor in the early going.
Well, we talked about Providence's shooting woes of late. They're 2 for 3 to start this game, but Connecticut's coming down. You know, when you want to get it going sometimes, Bob, you try to make it happen fast, and I think right now the Huskies trying to create offense too quickly. They've got to do it off their defense.
This is Rogers, who's been part of that point guard by committee approach for Providence with the injury to John Linehan. Down low, Shabazz, great head fake, and the jam. He's got 4 points and 3 rebounds in the first 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
And that was emphatic right there as Providence shows some pressure. So they're trying to make Connecticut work to bring the ball up the court.
Huskies beat the trap. Mooring waits for Elamine to come across the timeline. Elamine being defended by the 6'6 Maxey on this possession. Oh, the miscommunication there. Voskuhl was all alone and forced Rogers to just grab him. His first foul and 3 on Providence. Maxey was defending Elamine on the perimeter, and for some reason Augustin doubled him, and it left Voskuhl for the moment wide open.
Well, not a bad idea for Connecticut to try to get their low post game going early in this one. Voskuhl's been playing well, as you see his career high numbers against Syracuse, and that will tend to open up the perimeter for the outside shots.
In Jake's last 5 games, he's averaging 14 points, 8 rebounds, and shooting 73% from the floor. 27 of 37 as we get our first look of the night at Robertson, the freshman who comes from the shadows of the Providence campus. Robertson, a 6'2 freshman from East Providence, Rhode Island. Voskuhl makes the free throws. Timeout. 15:52 to go in the half, but Kareem Shabazz and the Friars up 3. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. 4 minutes in, Providence leading 6th-ranked UConn 7-4 here at the Hartford Civic Center. The UConn backcourt did not enjoy their Monday night at the Carrier Dome. I don't think anybody wearing the road blues did that night, Ron.
No, it was a tough night. We've talked about Voskuhl inside, but real struggle from the perimeter from both Khalid El-Amin and Albert Mooring. And really, these two guys, El-Amin in particular, has been the team leader, is the team leader. They need him to continue to just run the point, look for his shot, and Mooring to be a consistent guy shooting the ball from the perimeter. Mooring
on the bench right now as Robertson is in, defending Mark Jarrell Wright, a freshman from Newark, New Jersey, who is in to play the point for Providence. So this is the second point guard of the evening, and David Murray is rejected as he drives down the lane. Here comes El-Amin, being chased by Jarrell Wright. Saunders looks inside, nothing there. Baseline, Freeman gets by Augustin. And Jarrell Wright with the rebound, 3-on-2 for the Friars, but he carried it. Turnover number 4 for Providence. That's, as you know, Ron, one of the points of emphasis with officiating this year.
One of the problems Tim Welsh has got is that with John Linehan hurt, he's had the groin problems this year. Their feisty point guard, tough defensive guy, their quarterback on the floor. He's really been using different young point guards out there, and the Friars are prone to a lot of turnovers.
Jarrell Wright knocks it loose from behind. Yeah, Tim Welsh told me yesterday somebody has to steer the ship, and we're still looking for that someone to do it. Since Linehan's been injured, he's tried Mills. After Mills, we'll see him tonight at the point. He's tried Rogers. Now he's trying Jarrell Wright. Earlier in the year, he tried Jamal Kama. El-Amin hits the right side jumper for his first 2 points of the evening.
And that's where you start everything, is from your point guard slot. And that's where Connecticut with El-Amin gets so much consistency game to game. Good job against pressure by the Friars.
Kama, left side jumper, and he drills it. Kama began the year as the starting point guard with the injury to Linehan, then slid to the 2-guard spot, but has come off the bench for the last 8 or 9 games.
It's a nice start by Providence on the road here tonight, up by 3. 5.5 minutes into this game. Anytime you're on the road, you want to get into it and get your confidence going.
Friars is 1-3 on the road this year. Saunders on the dribble drive, gets by Murray. Freeman with the rebound, baseline, and the putback.
That's Freeman's game right there, Bob. We've seen it a couple of times now. Connecticut hitting the backboards, and when they score, they get into their pressure. This is their game, and they force a turnover.
Turnover number 5 for the Friars as Kevin Freeman, the 20th leading scorer in UConn history, picks up a couple with the power.
Just doesn't get boxed out on this play, just stays after it, and that's Freeman's game. Whether he's playing the 3 spot, the 4 spot, Jim Calhoun wants him to find his way to the backboard.
Providence has turned it over 5 times in the first 6 minutes. Marcus Cox, Suleiman Wan have checked into the lineup for the Huskies, so 2 freshmen in the backcourt along with El-Amin in a 3-guard attack right now for Jim Calhoun. There's Cox. Nice move to get by Jarrell Wright. Gives to Robertson inside for his first 2 of the evening.
Well, anytime you get penetration, good things can happen, and Cox did the job. Now he's got the steal.
Finds El-Amin on the left, and with that basket, Khalid El-Amin has jumped into 12th on the career scoring list at UConn, moving ahead of Art Quimby. He's got 4, UConn has 12, and Tim Welsh has time.
Nice job by Cox. You look for people to come into the game and give you a lift. Cox just did it.
13:30 to go in the half. UConn with Khalid El-Amin coming alive. The Huskies are up 3 with 13:30 to go in the half as 6th-ranked UConn looking to even its record in the Big East at 3-3. They'll do it if they get the win. Back in Hartford, UConn up 3, and Marcus Cox making his presence felt in a hurry.
He really has. He penetrated, makes a nice dish to Tony Robertson for 2, so the freshmen both getting into it. Then he comes right back with some aggressive defense and gets another assist on the next play as El-Amin is able to finish. that's giving your team a spark off the bench.
So let's see. Cox has been in for what, about 20 seconds. He has 2 assists and 1 steal already.
That's nice. That's a good job, and that's what Jim Calhoun was looking for. As you see, the UConn team starts very slow, but 4 out of 6. The defense forcing 6 turnovers. That's what they need to do, generate their offense off the aggressive defensive play.
And it's a 10-2 Husky run, which has given them the 3-point lead. Jarrell Wright, defended by Cox. Now gives up the dribble, and there's Cox with another steal.
Oh, wow. Getting it done defensively, huh?
Cox was the high school player of the year in the state of Connecticut last year at Colby Cathedral in Bridgeport, and Elamine misses the runner. Rebound baseline loose to the littlest man on the floor. Elamine has it taken away, still loose. Cox with the hustle gets it, and finally a held ball. Possession arrow pointing toward Providence. Marcus Cox is all over the place.
Well, anytime you see a man who's around the basketball, you know he's involved in the play, and Marcus Cox is really doing that for Connecticut. He's only been in for a couple of minutes. Nice alert play again defensively. And then at the other end, he's the man to tie things up when there's a loose ball. Well, this is what Connecticut needs, Bob. You know, it's just the all-out hustle. And a guy like Cox giving them a lift right now.
Well, Cox is one of several candidates that Jim Calhoun was considering starting tonight. He was not pleased with the lack of rebounding that he got out of Doug Wren in the last 2 games when Wren started. He eventually decided to go with Saunders, but he's been pleased with the way Cox has played. Elamine is out, and Albert Mooring back in for the Huskies. Down low, Shabazz wants to go on Ron. Blocked from behind by Robertson. The 2 freshmen getting it done at the defensive end.
Well, the defensive intensity and the hustle there right now for UConn. We talked a little about at the beginning. Hey, what's going on with UConn right now? Their whole game is generated off the intensity, and they seem to have that tonight.
Robertson gets by Jefferson, but David Murray sends it out of bounds. Murray is the 10th leading shot blocker in the Big East.
Nice job inside. You can see Robertson helping out, but nice job by Suleiman Wan, really holding his feet in position against Kareem Shabazz inside.
Elamine replaces Robertson, who gets a nice ovation from the Civic Center crowd. Elamine defended by Rogers, who started the game at the point and is back in. Mooring defended by Max. The shot clock running down, barely gets it off, hits the rim. And the long rebound to Jefferson. It's a 2-on-3. He picks up his dribble, and he's tied up by Elamine. Possession arrow points toward UConn.
Well, they can see it right now. Connecticut is extending, and they're tying things up right there. A lot of hustle.
Now instead, it looks like Bob Donato is going to get a foul call instead. And we'll get our first official timeout. 11:46 to go in the half. 12-9 UConn. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. Welcome back to the Hartford Civic Center. And just before the timeout, we thought we had a held ball, but we had an overrule and a foul call on Colin Elamine.
Yeah, it was kind of puzzling, Bob. It looks like Elamine's got a lot of ball. He likes it. He's got the jump ball call. Jimmy Calhoun liked it, but somehow a foul is called on the play, feeling that he got some arm. I'm not so sure about it, but nevertheless, Connecticut, they're playing some tougher D tonight.
Providence, 7 turnovers and only 6 shot attempts. They're averaging 18 turnovers per game. Maxey looks inside to Shabazz, can't get it to him. On the right, Maxey goes around Freeman and lays it up and in.
Aaron Maxey has been the most consistent Friar all year. He leads the team in scoring, second in rebounding, and really works hard every night he's out there.
Cox with the turnover at midcourt on the trap. Turnover number 3 for Jim Calhoun's Huskies.
Let's take a look at it. He's dribbling right into a try. He's got to get rid of it a little bit sooner. And right before he lost control, he did drag his pivot foot. Good call. The ball was deflected, but he had possession and dragged it.
Jefferson on the left, Maxey. Wan is fronting Shabazz down low. The Friars have had a tough time finding him on the last several possessions. Around the screen comes Wade. He was 2 for 16 from the floor Sunday against West Virginia.
That's a rough shooting there when you missed that.
What a move by Shabazz, and Juan just forced to foul him on the catch-up. Number 1 on Suleiman and 3 on the Huskies.
Shabazz is very crafty inside. He worked hard here to try to get the ball, and finally he tells the offensive player, says, hey, give it to me into my right hand, and just makes a beautiful spin move right there. And once you're 7-2 and you get that position, you're either going to make the hoop or go to the line.
4 points, 3 rebounds tonight for Shabazz, who began his high school career at LaSalle Academy. That's where God Shamgod, former Providence star, played his high school basketball.
Providence really struggles from the line as a team.
Oh, you think? 59%?
Oh, baby, that is a tough number. And Shabazz at 52%, but he does make 1 out of 2, which is pretty much his average.
He's got 5, even at 12. Elamine drives, kick out Morin for 3. Long rebound to Jefferson. Almost halfway through the first half. They get it down low to Shabazz again. Turns, blocked from behind, but fouled from behind. I think Robertson will get nailed for the foul as John Clockerty and Jody Sylvester consult. And it will be Robertson. Number 1 on him and 4 on UConn.
It's been a good strategy by Providence as he does get hit from behind, looking to get the ball inside to the 7-2 center and then see if they can get some openings from the perimeter. And Shabazz has delivered so far tonight.
Against LIU, Shabazz had 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 blocks, becoming the first Friar to get a triple-double since Bob Missaviges in 1977. And I know, Ron, you played against Bob Missaviges.
I remember Bob Missaviges, nice center for Providence back in the Dave Gavitt days. He could really pass for a big man. He loved being outside.
Boston called for traveling. Dave Gavitt is at the Civic Center. Catch this one tonight.
Saw Dave before the game, and Jimmy Calhoun looking on, looking for his team to get some consistency out in the court, and they look like they're pressing just a little bit offensively to make things happen quickly.
They're shooting just 31%. Elamine with the steal. Can Jefferson catch him from behind? He does! Oh. But Elamine almost got it to go. Instead, it's foul number 1 on Jefferson and number 4 on the Friars. And Khalid Elamine, the 10th leading free throw shooter in the country. And let's see if we can jinx him here. He's 22 of 22 from the line in Big East game.
Well, look at that steal, though, by Elamine. Look how he's always looking to see if a man's coming. He got hacked on the play by Marcus Jefferson. Almost gets this thing to go in with the English. A little smile saying, hey, I almost got that one to go down.
It's too bad he doesn't enjoy himself when he plays
That's
basketball.
exactly right. Ooh, nestles that one home.
Knows the rims, huh?
The first one when you've got a streak going is critical, and he was able to coax that one in.
We are at the Civic Center in downtown Hartford, Connecticut. Glad you could join us on this Thursday night for Big East basketball action. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Ron Perry. We have 10:07 to go first half, and UConn leads Providence 14-13. Khalid Elamine with 6 points tonight. Now has 1,402 in his UConn career, and the ball goes through the hands of Maxey and out of bounds for turnover number 9 for the Friars. They've turned it over 26 or more times in 4 different games this year. It's tough to win doing that.
Yeah, they cannot afford to have that kind of night here tonight against UConn. UConn, a team that can put spurts together, and Providence can go into droughts offensively. So Providence so far hanging right in there, half-court style game. Got to be careful of UConn runs.
What a move by Elamine. He finds Foster far side of the lane, spins, can't get it to go with the left, and we'll get a foul on the rebound on Saunders. That will be number 2 on the junior from Waterbury and 5 on the Huskies. Ron, the Friars have taken 7 shots in the first 10 minutes and 17 seconds, and they've turned it over 9 times. That's not a good rate. Well, you hear about assist to turnover ratio. You seldom hear about field goal attempts to turnover ratio.
Yeah, that's a tough ratio. You need more attempts if you're Providence, but they're only trailing by a point because they are playing good defense against UConn. And they've got the tempo of this game, kind of a half-court style, and UConn would like to get out and run a little bit more, quicken the pace of this game.
Wade, defended by Mooring. Tries to beat him off the dribble. Got some help from Robertson. Shot clock at 10. Augustin for three, no good. Rebound up in the air, and then Maxey will be called for the foul in midair. That will be his first, and 5 on Providence. Friars 8 and 10 on the year, Ron. 1 and 4 in Tim Welsh's club in the league, and they won their first game against Georgetown.
And they've dropped 4 in a row. Again, they play tough D. They've been in games. The scores have not really been that bad. Scoring has been their biggest problem. And important they keep Maxey on the floor.
That's the way to beat the press, resulting in the Shabazz foul at the other end. And that's his second and 6 on Providence. And needless to say, Tim Welsh can ill afford to get his big 7-2 center in foul trouble against the 6th-ranked team in the country.
Shabazz, his second personal foul, 6th on the team.
So Mr. Bosco will go right back to the free throw line.
You may see Tim Welsh go another minute or two with Shabazz, but with 2 fouls, he's going to watch him very closely and love to get him in at halftime with just 2. Doesn't want to see him in foul trouble. And matter of fact, David Murray is going to take him out right now. Does not want to take any chances, but I think he will bring him back in a few minutes to let him settle down on the bench.
Murray began the year as the starting center for Tim Welsh because Shabazz actually transferred from Florida State in the middle of the school year, so he did not become eligible to play here at Providence until the conclusion of the first semester. And then when Shabazz entered the lineup, Murray slid over to the 4 spot. Frankly, didn't play very well. Now he finds himself coming off the bench. But Tim Welsh has been very disappointed with the lack of production from Murray.
Needs more of it.
Rogers misses the shot. Here comes UConn Mooring. He's got Freeman on the right for the finish.
Excellent pass right there by Mooring. Very unselfish. And that's fast break basketball for UConn. They need more of that.
4 points for Freeman, making his 71st consecutive start tonight. UConn by 5. Dante Wade has been very quiet.
Providence does not want to play from behind on the road, and also as a team that has had trouble filling the hoop up with a lot of jumpers.
With the shot clock winding down, Bosco certainly altered that Rogers shot. Here's Robertson penetrating, goes around Murray. Wild shot.
Yeah, that was too much of a force by Robertson. Got to dish that ball. He went coast to coast. Too much defense underneath that time for him.
Murray up top, defended by Freeman. Down low Maxey, and Bosco will be called for the hold. That's the first foul on Jake and 6 on UConn.
Well, you know he did it on that one. He came out of that play nodding at the official.
We have a timeout with 7:51 to go in the half. UConn getting something going in transition. Kevin Freeman with the finish. And the defending national champions have opened up their biggest lead of the night. It's UConn over Providence by 5. It's UConn by 5, 7:51 to go in the half. Now let's take a look at the Volkswagen Big East leaders. Troy Murphy of Notre Dame not only leading the conference in scoring, Ron, he's got a huge lead.
Yeah, he's the only guy up over 20 a game. Picking up where he left off last year as the Big East Rookie of the Year, and tied for the rebounding lead with Ricardo Greer of Pitt. And how about Khalid El-Amin from the foul line, right up there, pushing 90%. What have we got him now? 24 in a row from the charity stripe in Big East play.
Off the inbound, Shabazz over Ajo Deng. Checks into the lineup for the Huskies. 8 points in the ball game for Shabazz. UConn by 3, 7.5 to go. First half, the beginning of the season between these two long-time New England rivals. Mooring for 3. Got it. He's 13th in the country in three-point shooting percentage.
He's been shooting it great lately. The last 5 games, he's shooting at just under a 75% clip. So, Mooring efficient. I just think he's probably got to look for it a little bit more because he is so accurate from the perimeter.
UConn by 6. Murray defended by Mooring. 9-2 Husky run. There's Shabazz down low. Spins, fires. He's got 10. This is a completely different player, Kareem Shabazz, than the one I saw Sunday afternoon against West Virginia, Ron.
But that's been the key for Providence in this one, Bob. They're going inside to Shabazz, and he's really getting it done.
Robertson. Rebound in the lane to Robertson. Brings it back out top to Elamine. The preseason selection for Big East Player of the Year and a nominee for both the Wooden and Naismith National Player of the Year awards. Mooring inside Deng. Little jump hook for the sophomore.
UConn looking for Deng to really bust out. A lot of anticipation of Ajo Deng. He's getting used to this Big East play. That was a nice hoop off the bench.
Barrel right, kick out to Augustin. No good. Rebound weak side to Albert Mooring. Here's Elamine. UConn said very little in transition tonight. Freeman goes behind the back. Baz rejects that one. Remember, he's got 2 fouls. And Kama just reached out and grabbed Mooring as he went by him.
Kareem Shabazz, the big 7'2" center for Providence. He wants it in this game. He's letting his backcourt mates know, if I'm down there, give me the ball, just with his body language. He's fighting hard for it. And the nice thing, if you're a Providence fan, is he's finishing when he gets it down low. He's been their offense here tonight.
Sunday against West Virginia, the first 2 Mountaineer possessions, they pounded the ball inside. And first Calvin Bowman and then Marcus Gorey went right around Shabazz. He played like he didn't have any energy. He played like someone who's been bothered by the flu.
Yeah, the last 3 games, that has to be the case. He didn't score 3 games ago in the Rutgers game. I had him in the Villanova game, and he still looked winded in that game, Bob. When you get hit by the flu bug, of course, I'm not 7'2", so I think it hits you even harder when you're that tall. So he's looking like he's much more energetic tonight for the Friars.
Not sure why the delay here. The foul was on Kama. His first 7 on the Friars, so it is a 1-and-1. And there you see what Albert Mooring has done from the free throw line this year. The Huskies, an outstanding free throw shooting team at 72%. They're 4th in the Big East. Providence dead last, 59.9%. Huskies are 8 of 9 tonight, Ron.
Oh, they're doing a good job, and that's so important, particularly in close games. And Mooring, number 2 scorer on the team. So it's the backcourt with Elamine and Mooring getting it done for the Huskies.
5 points for Mooring. Kama. Jarrell right. They look inside to Shabazz, who now is being defended by Saunders. Reversal. Kama. No good, and the rebound pulled down on a hop by Saunders.
Excellent box out on the weak side by Saunders that time.
Mooring for 3. Got it! Albert Mooring with 8 points. This is a 16-4 UConn run, and their biggest lead of the night at 11.
Said it a few minutes ago, Providence has got to watch out for the spurts by UConn, and the Huskies doing it right now. Providence has got to find a way to get some hoops going. They're not, as I said, a real come-from-behind team because they can't get points in bunches.
Barrel right to Shabazz. Missed everything on the 15-footer. Here's Elamine to Mooring. 3-on-1 to use to Saunders, and Shabazz picks up his 3rd foul. And if you're UConn, that's probably more important than getting the basket.
That's huge if you're a UConn fan, because Shabazz has been the offensive player in this one. Now he's going to have to sit with 3. It's a good call. I mean, he backs into Saunders, who's going to the hoop. Trying to play good defense, but he bangs into him. You can't see him, but he bangs into Saunders, who's got the ball. And I think that's the call you've got to make right there. And it's a tough one for the Friars.
So we won't see Shabazz for the rest of the half. He got into terrible foul trouble in the Big East opener against Georgetown, but the Friars managed to survive that anyway. Saunders making his 12th start of the season tonight. He, of course, was such an instrumental player off the bench on the national championship team last year.
I think that was a stabilizing move tonight by Jim Calhoun. He got Saunders back out there, and I think he's saying, hey, I've got to get Saunders and Freeman. They're playing a lot together anyways. Let me get him out there at the beginning. Let's try to settle this thing down and get Edmund Saunders off the dime early.
Rogers, good ball movement by the Friars on this possession. Nice move. Kama with a gorgeous reverse.
Wow, up and under, made it look easy.
4 points for the juniors from Salem, Massachusetts, and here comes Houston. Saunders with the finish. The Huskies now have outscored Providence on fast break points, 13-0.
Boy, that's the way you run a break, huh? Just break it out against pressure, get it to the middle, and finish.
And a foul away from the ball will be called on the Huskies. I think this one will be on Marcus Cox, number 1 on him. And that puts UConn over the limit, and the Friars will shoot the 1-and-1.
Fast break action by Connecticut. They do a nice job. You want to move it to the middle, penetrate to the foul line here, and Cox again, who's done a nice job off the bench, gets it to Saunders, who's coming alive in the fast break. Connecticut pitching a shutout right now with 13 fast break points.
I asked Tim Welsh yesterday, you know, the way UConn got hammered Monday night at the Carrier Dome, is this a bad time or a good time to play UConn? And he said, I expect them to demonstrate great pride. That guy on the sideline won't allow his players to let down.
Exactly, and I'm sure.
Who's he referring to? The Husky mascot?
It might be that guy named Jim Calhoun. Demanding intensity and to come at, to come back to UConn's home court after that game. If I was Tim Walsh, I'd say to myself, hey, they're going to be fired up, and they have been in this first half.
So following the free throw, we're going to get a foul called on Augustin for the Friars. And that will be number 1 on him and 9 on Providence. So we walk down the other end, and Saunders will shoot some free throws. And now we'll see the 3rd different point guard for Tim Welsh tonight as Kama sits down, and Abdul Mills will get his turn at the point. Mills has started 6 games this year.
Really been a committee inside, as Tim Welsh said. He's got a lot of young, freshmen and junior college transfers trying to get it done in the backcourt. And that can really get you out of sync, Bob, when you're trying to find that right chemistry from the point guard slot. That's been a struggle for Providence.
And of course, it's all because of the groin injury to John Linehan, which very likely, almost certainly, will keep him out for the rest of the year. Linehan led the Big East in steals last season. This is the 13th game that he's missed this season tonight. Saunders rejects the entry pass. We have a timeout. 3:55 to go in the half. Edmund Saunders has been quite visible at both ends of the floor. His club leads by 13. UConn leads Providence by 13. Albert Mooring demonstrating why he's the 2nd most efficient three-point shooter, at least percentage-wise, in UConn history.
Well, he's really given the team a lift. They had that nice spurt, and he's been really triggering it from the outside. That pulls the defense out. He hit 2 big threes. You can see his shooting in 2 for 4. That opened up some lanes inside. Nice job by Mooring from the outside.
And as long as you ask, Ron, the only one in UConn history with a better three-point shooting percentage is some guy named Ray Allen. Whatever happened to him, by the way?
I think he found himself at the next level.
10 turnovers now for Tim Welsh's Friars.
David Murray, he's in there now. Of course, Shabazz with 3. He's playing the middle. Murray's got the taped left thumb. He sprained the thumb about a week ago in practice, so just took his eye off that pass.
There's the turnover story. It's the Friars in a 2-3 zone now. Voskuhl loses the rebound off his knee, and Mooring will re-enter the lineup, replacing Cox for the Huskies.
Replaces Marcus Cox.
UConn has a big test coming up on Super Bowl Sunday afternoon here at the Civic Center, as they will take on the team which I think most people would agree is the biggest surprise in the Big East this year, and that's Tommy Amaker's Seton Hall Pirates.
I agree with you, Bob. They're playing great basketball. Nice shot by Maxey. They had a nice road win at Boston College last night, and Shaheen Holloway took charge from the point.
Maxey with a little jump hook inside. He's got 5. Freeman comes back, rejected inside. Freeman gets it back. Shot clock did not recycle, but still plenty of time to shoot at 17. Friars in a zone now, Ron.
2-3. They're trying to invite the outside shot and get rebounding position.
Elamine beats Rogers off the dribble and dishes to Saunders. Couldn't get it to fall. That was the hard part, though.
It was a pretty pass. I don't know if he surprised Saunders. Saunders couldn't find the glass on that one. You want to try to bank it when you get it down low if you can.
Mills on the right wing. Out top to Jefferson. Down low Murray. Spins on Voskuhl. And a traveling violation and turnover number 11 for Providence.
Providence really struggling to score right now, Bob, with Shabazz on the bench. He was giving them a good lift. He had 10 of the 22 points, but they're struggling right now.
Take a look at some other scores brought to you by ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Pittsburgh at home leading Villanova by 6 first half. That's a game that was scheduled for last night but had to be postponed because of the storm which hit the Northeast this week. Villanova was unable to travel on Tuesday to the site of the game, so they're playing it tonight at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse.
Mooring, Robertson, and Elamine all can shoot it. They're out there.
Good step in there for the steal by Jefferson. Mills up the floor, loses the handle. We approach the 2-minute mark. UConn up by 11.
Well, Providence struggling just to get quality shots off right now. They're kind of tentative, standing around the perimeter against this tough UConn man defense.
There's Jefferson for 3. Goes halfway down, comes out. Rebound Voskuhl. Robertson to Morey. Morey for 3. Rebound Voskuhl. Elamine for 3. And the rebound pulled down to the lane by Maxey.
Well, you take that if you're UConn, though. They got 2 quality looks. Voskuhl with that nice inside-out pass. Just couldn't get it to go.
Maxey for 3. And here's Elamine. Has Freeman on the left. Hits it. Rejected, but a foul will be called on Maxey. That's number 2 on Maxey. A little bit of a get up in the air there, didn't he?
Hey, how about the lead pass by Elamine? If you run the floor when he has the basketball, good chance you're going to get it. He's always got his head up. Nice catch by Freeman. And he says, I'm going to stuff this thing. And Maxey says, no way, you're earning it from the line.
So Kevin Freeman at the free throw line for the first time tonight. He has made the 9th most free throws in UConn history. Coming up at halftime on the National Car Rental Halftime Report, Ron and I will check some out-of-town scores, a look at the Big East Wire and that undefeated Syracuse Orange Men Club, plus highlights and stats from the first half of this one here at the Hartford Civic Center. That's all coming up on the National Car Rental Halftime Report. So Freeman now with 6 points after hitting a couple of free throws.
Providence just doesn't have that go-to guy offensively this year. Maxey, their team's leading scorer, but at 6'6", he's getting swallowed up inside in this one, and no one really stepping up from the perimeter. Augustin has been hot of late, but just not getting the shots tonight.
Well, when it rains, it pours. A 5-second call on Mills. Turnover number 12 for Tim Welsh's club. So it will be Husky ball with 1:02 left. Providence may surpass that average. They're on pace to do so.
Still only down 13, though, and they're trying to hang in there, and it's going in at halftime. They got a chance to close a little bit more with possession right here.
Robertson will be called for using the left arm to create some room. His second foul, and 8 on the club. Jim Calhoun doesn't look like he's a big fan of that call. Rogers departs. Wade back in. It's been a very quiet night for Dante Wade, the second leading scorer on the year for the Friars, has yet to get on the board tonight.
Well, you got to give some credit to the UConn defense. They've been playing tough man-to-man defense, not giving Providence any easy looks, but Providence just doesn't have any backcourt people with dribble penetration in this game to get in the lane and get people some good shots.
Left side jumper, Mills, no good. Terrific rebound position by Voskuhl, but evidently Bob Donato didn't think so, because Jake will be whistled for personal foul number 2. And that's 10 on the Huskies, so the Friars will not only shoot, but they'll shoot 2.
A couple of tough breaks for UConn. They had possession of the ball, a chance to build on their lead and then turn it over, and then at the defensive end commit another one. So letting Providence kind of hang around in this game.
So Vasco will sit down with his second. That's actually only 9 team fouls on the Huskies. So instead it's the 1-and-1, and it makes a difference. Rebounds Suleiman Juan. Shot clock is off, and Jim Calhoun will use a 30-second timeout. You use it or lose it. You can't carry over the ball to the second half, so you might as well use it.
It's good strategy, you know. And I also think, Bob, 28 seconds to go. You're up 13. You've just turned it over. You've just committed a foul. Good time to settle it down. Try to draw a play up for the last shot of the first half. Get it to El-Amin and look to penetrate with about 8 to 10 seconds left. Get a good shot and then bang the backboards and try to go up 15 at halftime. So see if they can follow what Jim Calhoun's drawing up over there, and I'm sure El-Amin is in the middle of it.
Well, Ron, you mentioned that you felt that big problem for the Huskies recent games has been rebounding. Thus far tonight, the Huskies out rebounding the Friars 22-15.
That's a big advantage, Bob. You know, if you really looked at one thing the other night in the Syracuse game, Connecticut just uncharacteristically got beat up on the backboards, particularly the offensive boards for Syracuse. And tonight, much more aggressive action, both ends of the floor under the glass.
Friars are dead last in the Big East in rebounding margin. So the Huskies will play for one, up 13. The time, lower corner of your screen, is the time remaining in the half. El-Amin.
It's a nice job there to just get some penetration. You get a fresh count because you don't want to get a 5-second call.
El-Amin blows by Wade, kick out one, and he hits the jumpers just as it was diagrammed. And then Mills will turn it over. But evidently El-Amin touched it last.
Tim Tollikin up there nicely, huh, to get his hands on the ball for UConn. I was ready to catch that one, Bob.
Well, you mean you were ready to shoot it?
I was thinking about it. You know, I saw the 3 seconds left.
Right. You're still angry that they didn't have that 3-second rule when you played at Holy Cross, so you've been trying to make up for it ever since.
Nice penetration by El-Amin last time, huh? The kick out to Juan. You want to go into the halftime with momentum, see if Providence can get a good shot here before the buzzer.
Quickly, Mills goes by Cox, shoots over, tipped up, no good. It would have counted by Maxey, but it does not fall. So Jim Calhoun's Huskies find themselves with a big fat 15-point lead halfway home at the Hartford Civic Center. So it's 6th-ranked UConn 37, Providence 22 at the half. In a moment, we'll check some out-of-town scores coming up on the National Car Rental Halftime Report. Tonight's game is brought to you by National Car Rental. What are you waiting for? Let's go. By Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. By Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And by Beck's, a beer apart. Bob Picozzi and Ron Perry back at the Hartford Civic Center. We're at the half. 6th-ranked UConn leads Providence 37-22. Now let's take a look at the Buick first half stats. And Ron, look at the differential in the fast break points matches the differential on the scoreboard. Just coincidence, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard to figure out, but I'll tell you the key was the rebounding, the free throw advantage for Connecticut in the fast break action. I'll tell you, just a good job by Connecticut. They're going to try to run more in the second half and see if they can build on this 15-point advantage.
The leading scorers, first for the Friars, Kareem Shabazz with 10, but all 10 came very early, Ron.
That's right. He played well in the paint early. Connecticut was trying to match up with him. He picked up 3 fouls. Crucial for Providence that he gets into the second half without picking up number 4.
And for the hometown Huskies, Albert Mooring with 8 and 3 other players for Jim Calhoun with 6 points. So it's been a very balanced attack for the Huskies, who have been absolutely dominant in this building in the last 7 seasons. They are 56-7 here. Of course, come to think of it, UConn's been fairly dominant in every building over the last 7 years, haven't they?
They really have a consistent program, one of the best programs in the country, tops in the Big East in the 90s. So when UConn loses a game or two, which they have this year, everyone's like, what's wrong? Connecticut's still 13-4. This is a big game, though, because they want to even up in the Big East at 3-3 and just get a better rhythm going as a team.
The Huskies will have a return date with Syracuse on March 4th. But right now, the Orange men enjoying a 3-game lead in the loss column in the Big East over UConn, who has won 5 of the last 6 regular season titles in the conference.
Look for Connecticut to threaten again in the conference by the end of the standings. They'll be there.
Elamine for 3. No good. Rebound tipped in by Voskuhl. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, what kind of tip was that with the right hand getting it to go down?
Largest lead of the night for UConn at 17. Shabazz up top. Down low, Maxey gets inside Saunders for the jam.
Talk about consistency for the Friars. It's Aaron Maxey, always workmanlike inside as Providence continues to pressure. Oh, that's a dangerous pass there.
Forecourt, Freeman takes it right to the hole. Gives to Voskuhl. And Freeman picks up the loose ball along the baseline, and Elamine will reset the offense. Saunders gets loose inside. It's blocked by Shabazz. Comes down to Mooring. Out to Elamine for 3.
That's just good hustle by Connecticut. We talked about rebounding. We talked about the offensive boards, and that's an effort right there by the Huskies.
9 points for Khalid Elamine. Friars come right back. Long rebound run down by Saunders. Elamine finds Mooring. Blows by Augustin. Out top Saunders. Voskuhl puts it on the hole. Kick out Elamine. Dribble drive. And a blocking foul on the Friars.
Went down hard. Right knee, I think he was holding, Bob.
Trainer Joe Sharp out to take a look. As is Jim Calhoun. And Khalid looks to be in a great deal of discomfort.
Made a great up fake on the left baseline. I didn't see what happened, Bob, as he went baseline, if it was a collision there, but clearly holding the right leg as he's down in a lot of pain. Goes baseline, nice up fake, and let's see if there's some contact as he goes along the baseline. Oh, right there, the knees bang. You can see the knee banging right there. It looks like a knee on knee.
Well, if that's all it is, Ron, knee on knee, that would probably be a good thing.
It was a real blow. You could see the actual legs colliding as opposed to a planted knee that bent the wrong way. But clearly, a lot of pain there with Elamine, and it did look like his knee banged with the Providence player's knee under the basket. And you do get a quiet crowd here when Elamine goes down. He is the heart and soul of this UConn Husky club.
The foul was on Shabazz. It's his 4th. Of course, if anyone has ever banged their knee, even on the coffee table, you know how painful it is. But taking a blow to the kneecap would certainly be preferable to obviously any kind of twist, which could result in the serious sort of injury.
Bang, you can see the knees banging right there. You don't know when it happened, if perhaps he hyperextended that knee a little bit as it bent maybe inward a little bit, but he is in a lot of pain. You hope it's more of a bruise than anything with the inner workings of the knee with tendons and ligaments.
Meanwhile, play resumes, and Chris Rogers picks up his 2nd foul for the Friars. And that's 2 team fouls this half. And at the free throw line will go Kevin Freeman. Now 2 of 3 from the line on the night. Freeman, like his teammate Khalid Elamine, is a nominee for the John Wood National Player of the Year award. Back rim to both.
He was flat with that second one. That one really went on a line. Got to get a little bit more height on that and soften it up a bit.
This is Augustin for 3. No good. Long rebound to Rogers, and a fresh 35 for Providence. Down low, Murray to replace Shabazz, and Voskuhl sends it out of bounds. Jake, the 3rd leading shot blocker in UConn history.
Voskuhl does an awful lot for this Connecticut team at both ends of the floor, but he is rock solid defensively. Allows the perimeter people to really get out there and extend because they know he'll give them some help inside.
This is Maxey, foul line jumper.
Eric Maxey, he's the man right now, stepping up a bit for Providence. They need more scoring points. Nice trap.
Knocked out of bounds by Maxey. So Huskies ball. Maxey with 9 points. Marcus Cox checks in for the Huskies, replacing Robertson.
Marcus Cox, replacing Tony Robertson.
Now we are told by the UConn Athletic Communications people that the injury to El Amin is to the right thigh, and that is wonderful news.
That's very
You'd have a tough
positive.
time convincing Kyle of it right now because he's
Well,
in pain, but obviously
right.
the thigh is better than the knee.
Well, it's like more of a Charlie horse than you could see the collision there, and anytime you get involved with the knee, that's what you want to avoid. You hope it's a bruise, but it goes above the knee, but still very painful when you hit that muscle.
Dr. Jeffrey Anderson working on him along with the trainer Joe Sharp. Kama back in the lineup for the Friars. This is Augustin, puts it on the floor. Kick out Kama. He drives down the lane and leaves for Murray. And the transfer from Mesa Community College buries the jumper.
Well, that's as good a penetration as Providence has had in a while. They get into the lane and they make something positive happen on that one.
Rogers will pick up his 3rd foul for the Friars, and that's 3 team fouls in the second half.
Nice job penetrating here. This Kama, and again, you draw the defense. You've got Mooring and Voskuil's got to help out, and that gives Murray the opportunity to hit that soft baseline jumper.
Cox finds Mooring, goes right around Kama. Cox looking for the high screen from Voskuil. Defended by Rogers, who remains on the floor with 3 fouls. Freeman on the wing. Voskuil flashes up top. Cox gets the pick from Voskuil. Can't bury the jumper, but Voskuil directs the rebound, at least for the moment, to Freeman. Then a scrum underneath and a held ball. Possession arrow pointing toward Providence.
Boy, Voskuil is all over the place tonight, getting his hands on basketballs. He's really putting forth an effort in there.
Voskuil with that blocked shot a moment ago moves within 2 of former Husky Travis Knight, who is the 2nd leading shot blocker in UConn history. Of course, Knight immediately preceded Voskuil as a starting center here. On the rebound, we'll get a foul on the Friars. This will be 4 team fouls on Providence this half.
Providence foul number 25.
And it will be Augustin who picks up his second. Full court pressure again by the Friars. They're playing man-to-man and looking to trap. You got to pass through this thing and try to get it to the middle. Cox up the floor to Saunders, and Mooring throws up the three. That's a nice way to answer pressure. Pass the ball up the court and then drain the three, and that's what Mooring can do for you. 11 points for Mooring and his third three of the night. Augustin for three. Comes off the rim a little flat, and Saunders pulls down the rebound. Well, we talked about Providence, just 28 points in this game, and we're nearing the 15.5-minute mark. They are struggling, trying to score tonight. Voskuil off balance, no good. Rebound in the lane, Freeman, and another foul on the Friars. This will be team foul number 5 on Providence. And we'll get our first official timeout here in the second half. 15:33 to go on the half. Albert Mooring with one of his 3 3-pointers has UConn up 17. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. It's UConn by 17, 15.5 remaining in the second half. Well, it's been some good offensive play right now. As you can see, El Amin from three-point land. He can't get it to go, but Jake Voskuil with a great tip in, and he does enjoy himself out there playing with a lot of emotion. And now Edmund Saunders, some good action inside. Voskuil again keeping it alive. Big offensive rebounding advantage in this game. 13-2 for Connecticut. And draining it from the outside eventually is El Amin. Of course, he's sitting now with that bruise just above his knee. It looks like it's in the thigh area where he got banged a few minutes ago.
It officially is being classified a right quad contusion, and it's unlikely he'll return. As you see the second chance point story going UConn's way, and Jake Voskuhl picks up 2 more. He's got 10. The lead's 19.
Voskuhl playing with a lot of confidence offensively in the middle, making quick moves, aggressive to the goal.
In defeat on Monday night at Syracuse, Voskuhl had a career-high 19. Voskuhl, believe it or not, has never scored as many as 20 points in either a high school or college game. But that's something. It drives him nuts when he hears that, because it's not important to him.
Doesn't care. He's more concerned about defense and setting screens and just playing team ball.
And blocking a shot here and there. Mooring puts it on the floor, finds Saunders for the open look. Rebound Murray. Picked clean from behind by Saunders.
And Voskuhl there putting his hands saying, hey, let's settle it down. Elamine on the bench right now looking for Marcus Cox to just say, hey, let's run the offense, take some time off.
Voskuhl with 7 rebounds to go with the 10 points. It's been a rough shooting night for Edmund Saunders. Can't get that one to fall. He's 1 for 7.
That was a good aggressive move, though, taking it to the goal.
Marcus Jefferson back in for the Friars. Goes around the high screen set by Murray, and Mooring knocked it loose off the leg of Jefferson and out of bounds. Husky ball.
Checking back in for Providence, number 3, Kareem Shabazz.
Shabazz will return with 4 fouls and 14 minutes left as Murray sits down. And Tony Robertson replaces Marcus Cox for the Huskies.
I think Tim Welsh feeling he's got to have Shabazz out there. And right now, down by 19, he's saying, hey, you know, there's no point really waiting much longer. So try to see if he can play a while. As you can see, Providence twice as many turnovers as Connecticut with 14.
Robertson single-handedly beats the trap. Goes by Maxey. Finds Mooring. Down low Saunders. Let's see if they want to work on Shabazz. Try to get his 5th. Rebound Maxey.
Off balance that time for Saunders.
Jarrell Wright wanted Jefferson, but he airmailed.
That's touch. He saw him, he had him, waited too long, and then delivered the ball too high. But I don't think it's a bad idea for Providence to try to get out and run a little bit. They have had a very tough time trying to score in the half court.
The Huskies shooting 34% tonight and lead by 19. Saunders, that's right. You have to bring the ball up the court. Voskuhl will rebound number 8. Here's Robertson, finds Mooring. Play getting just a bit ragged. Got to make it very ragged. And as Jarrell Wright comes up the floor, a foul on Robertson, and Jim Calhoun calls time.
And he's not happy. He's not happy to see this ragged play. Elamine on the bench with the contusion in his right thigh, and things a little out of control right there. Jim Calhoun wants to settle it down.
He looked like he was looking for the basketball. He wanted to make sure it was definitely not put back into play, put back into service.
There wasn't much of a chance of it.
There was no chance, was there?
It's an opportunity there for Providence. It was a good fast break, but Maxey can't plant himself. He takes kind of a floater under the basket. But Connecticut comes right down. Again, too much dribbling. Move the ball, otherwise set up, because as a result, when you pound it too much, good chance you're going to turn it over.
Foul on Robertson was his 3rd, first on the Huskies this half. Providence has lost 4 straight. UConn has lost 2 of its last 3. The loss, by the way, Monday night at the Carrier Dome ended a Big East record 13-game conference road winning streak. That's amazing to win 13 straight road games in this league.
It really is. When you consider you got to go to the Dome, you've got to go to Madison Square Garden against St. John's, you got to go down and play Villanova. A lot of tough places to play. At West Virginia, some very tough road tests. 13 in a row. Just another indication of the great role that UConn has been on.
Jarrell Wright on the left. Mills was open, throws up the 3, and the rebound is pulled down along the baseline by Mooring.
Well, if UConn needed to come out and rebound, we talked about it at the beginning. They have done the job and answered that bell tonight, banging the boards at both ends.
Out rebounding the Friars by 6, 31-25. Down low Voskuhl, and Shabazz with the 4 fouls chose not to contest it. Jarrell Wright. Tough pass. It's kicked out of bounds by Voskuhl. That pass was down by Shabazz's toes.
Yeah,
and when you're 7'2", wow, that's a long way to reach for it.
Get it upstairs for the big guy. Get it where his hands can get his hand, you know, get easily reach at it, not down around the feet.
It's like Shabazz having a problem with his contact lens. We are at the Civic Center in downtown Hartford, Connecticut. Glad you could join us for Big East basketball. My name's Bob Picozzi along with Ron Perry. We have 12 minutes, 35 seconds remaining. UConn leads Providence 47-28. Khalid El Amin, the Huskies All-American candidate, on the bench with 9 points, 2 assists, and a right quad contusion following a nasty collision with Kareem Shabazz. We do not expect El Amin to return tonight. Saunders with the steal. Cox on the left board for 3. Rebound Juan. He'll be called for an over the top on the foul. That will be number 2 on Juan and 2 on the Huskies here in the second half. Jim Calhoun has won 317 games and lost 124 here at UConn in his 14th year. So approaching the point, Ron, where he's going to be 200 games over 500 here at UConn alone.
A lot of W's. Jimmy's won everywhere that he has been. One of the great coaches in the country.
Won 250 games at Northeastern in 14 years there. Dante Wade pull up no good.
Oh, he's been on the bench for a while, huh? Wade? He's a guy that's been shooting it pretty well too for the Friars.
Wade missed all 8 3-point attempts Sunday against West Virginia. And as Juan goes up, he'll draw the foul on Jefferson. Number 2 on Jefferson and 6 on the Friars here in the second half. Jefferson, his 3rd game back in the lineup tonight after missing 8 in a row with a stress fracture.
Nice pass by Saunders. A lot of times you can bring your forwards out, and when you're 6'7", 6'8", you can see over the defense and get the ball inside to some of your open big people.
So Juan misses the first free throw as Robertson prepares to check back into the lineup. As you mentioned, Robertson, Ron, is from East Providence, Rhode Island, but he said he never really seriously considered going to Providence. In fact, he said he attended more UConn games when he was in high school than he did Providence games. Liked the way the Husky style of play.
Lane violation, Connecticut.
We have a coach's timeout here and a lane violation preceding it with 11:50 left in the ball game. 47-28. Tim Welsh's Friars find themselves trailing. They have a return engagement with West Virginia this Sunday, the second time they'll play the Mountaineers in 8 days. And an example of how inconsistent the season has been for Tim Welsh's club. They lost to your alma mater, Ron, Holy Cross, and their first-year coach Ralph Willard. That was back on opening night. Scored 120 points, most of the Big East this year against American University of Puerto Rico. Had a great win over Arkansas. Not such a great loss to Central Connecticut State University.
Yeah, they definitely have had kind of a seesaw type of year, and you're going to have that with young players, inexperienced players, and players trying to get into a groove with each other. And when you have your point guard go down, as John Linehan has with the groin injury, you're going to get inconsistent play.
Let's take a look at some other scores brought to you by ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Second half in Pittsburgh, and the Panthers looking for their first conference win under first-year coach Ben Howland. Lead Villanova 51-49. Outside the Big East, Clemson at home beating 25th ranked North Carolina State. Boy, that's a solid defensive effort, holding the Wolfpack to 42.
Really is.
North Carolina at home leading 21st ranked Maryland by 11 second half.
That'd be big for the Tar Heels. They've been in a real downward slide of late.
And in the Big Ten, Michigan State with a 20-point lead at the half. Northwestern 12 points in the first 20 minutes, and UConn will see the Michigan State Spartans in East Lansing a week from Saturday. That should be a classic.
That should be a great game. Talk about a tough road game in the midst of the Big East schedule to go non-league against Michigan State, one of your top teams in the Big Ten.
Hopefully, Khalid El-Amin will be fit as a fiddle for that one, and an interesting matchup with Mateen Cleaves, perhaps the 2 best guards in the country.
Oh, they're 2 of the best, I'll tell you. That both guys do a great job, and if you like point guard play, you're going to see it in that one.
Those 2 teams met last year at Gamble Pavilion with the Huskies prevailing.
You know who's really coming on too that I'm impressed with, Bob, is Jason Hart at Syracuse, and of course Eric Barkley at St. John's.
Inside Shabazz, knocked away by Juan, but Juan will be called for personal foul number 3, and 3 on the Huskies this half. And Kareem Shabazz will go to the line to shoot some free throws. In Shabazz's first 7 games with the Friars, he averaged a double-double. A moment ago, we saw a shot of Kevin Freeman sitting right next to Khalid El-Amin, and he also being worked on. There's Kevin by trainer Joe Sharp. That's because Freeman caught an elbow in the lower back, and he's having some back spasms. And that picture tells it all, as he's in a great deal of discomfort.
He's a tough kid. I mean, these injuries can really be painful, and Freeman really keeled over on the bench. Now he's next to El-Amin, who was in a tremendous amount of pain several minutes ago with that contusion he took to the thigh area.
12 points and 3 rebounds for Kareem Shabazz, but he's been stuck on that 3 rebound mark. He pulled down to 3rd rebound 4 minutes into the game.
Well, that 3rd foul really took him out of sync in the first half.
Shabazz comes up with the steal. Wade down low Shabazz. He's doubled. Comes to Maxey. Foul before the shot will be on the Huskies. I think it's on Cox. It is. And Providence will inbound beneath its own hoop.
Well, the best things have happened for the Friars tonight when they've gotten the ball inside to Shabazz. He's either found a way to score, he's also a good passer.
Comes into Shabazz, knocked loose by Voskuhl, gets it back. Rebound along the baseline, last touch by the Huskies, and the Friars will do it again. Talk about murderers row, Ron. Providence. This begins a 5-game stretch tonight at UConn, then at West Virginia, at Seton Hall, Syracuse at home, St. John's at home. Wow.
That's not pretty. Boy, did Tim Welsh wanted a foul on that last move. Nice move by Wade. As Shabazz went up, he thought he got hacked.
First 2 points of the night for Wade, who's the 2nd leading scorer on the year for the Friars. Mooring with the leaner.
Mooring's done a nice job tonight, Bob. He just takes the good shots, high percentage. He's really getting it done from the outside.
13 points for Mooring. That last basket by Wade ended a run for Providence. They had missed 8 shots in a row. And Voskuhl will be called for the hold on Shabazz. That's number 3 on Jake. And number 5 on UConn here in the 2nd half. As Suleiman Juan returns, replacing Voskuhl, who will sit down with 10 points and 8 rebounds, closing in on perhaps his 3rd double-double of the season. Quickly into Shabazz, muscles his way, misses the shot.
What are we going to do to get him?
Well, you know, he
caught in there.
He caught the ball about 2 feet from the hoop and wound up shooting it about 6 feet.
Yeah, you can't fade away. Good point. You got to go right up with it, trying to avoid some contact.
Either that or go up and get the foul. This is Cox, defended by Augustin. Robertson on the switch, picked up by Maxey. Now they switch back. Shot clock inside 10. Tries to beat Rogers off the dribble. Kick out Cox. Block. Shot clock hasn't recycled. Now it will recycle. But Mooring doesn't bother waiting. 16 points for Albert.
It's a nice job. 2nd and 3rd chances have been big tonight for UConn. Tim Welsh saying, hey, let's call timeout. Try to stop the momentum. But Connecticut, size and strength, really beating Providence to the basketball.
Timeout, 9:35 to go in the ball game. You're watching Big East basketball from ESPN+. Up 19, 9:15 to go. Wade with the steal, inside Maxey, and the foul. Aaron Maxey, the 6'6" junior from Lake Elsinore, California, with his 10th and 11th points of the night.
One of the few fast break opportunities for Providence all night long. Wade does the job right there, gets it to the foul line, draws the defense. Maxey with the finish. And Providence should continue with full court pressure with El Amin at the end of the bench. He's got that thigh bruise. Look for Providence to continue to try to force Connecticut into some turnovers here.
Lots of time left. Some three-point play by Maxey, who leads the Friars in scoring and in rebounding. Cox takes it to the hole. That's the way you beat the full court pressure. And then Saunders comes right back and nearly steals the inbound. Robertson instead steals, and he'll go in all alone. And a technical foul will be called on Robertson for grabbing the rim by Bob Donato, hanging on the rim.
Well, it was a great stuff. You're allowed to hang on to the rim if the officials feel your legs could get taken out from you. You can hang on to defend yourself. But I think the feeling there was that Robertson just hung more to finish off the stuff. Let's take a look at it. Nice steal, huh? Really gets after it. Goes in for the finish. Kind of wondering how he might do it, but the hang right there does it. Bob Donato with the call doesn't really feel the defensive player was causing him to have to do that time.
I saw that call Tuesday night, called on Troy Murphy of Notre Dame. Irish lost to Miami, and the crowd at the Joyce Center responded in amazingly similar fashion. The way the crowd's responding here.
Not surprised, but Robertson, the intent of that rule is to not just stuff it and hang, so I think he makes the right judgment call there.
So a technical also counts as a personal, and that's number 4 on Robertson. It's also the 7th team foul on the Huskies, so that means the Friars will shoot free throws every time there's a foul on UConn the rest of the way. And speaking of a foul on UConn, that would be the 8th team foul on the Huskies. And Suleiman Wan picks up his 4th foul. He's getting his money's worth tonight.
Officials are calling the reach-ins and the holds, so as a player you've got to adjust to that. Connecticut up by 19 in this one. Just play good solid defense with your feet, but they don't need a lot of reaching in right now at this point in the game.
So to the free throw line will go Kareem Shabazz, who is 4 of 6 from the stripe. Has 3 double-doubles in his first 9 games in a Providence uniform. That was his 13th point of the night, so this is the 7th time in 10 games as a Friar that Shabazz has scored in double figures.
Shabazz has certainly made this Friar club a lot more competitive. Bob, he stepped right in. He gives them a big presence inside.
Kama to Wade. Loses his footing as he goes. Maxey left side jumper. Rebound. Wade battles and saves it to Shabazz. Doug Wren is checked into the lineup for UConn, and Wren knocks the ball off Kama and out of bounds. So Wren started the last 2 games, and tonight sees no action at all for the first 31.5 minutes.
That was quite an exchange right there for Providence, trying to keep it alive. Just couldn't get a handle on the ball.
Joe Deng in the lineup for the Huskies. Saunders feeds Mooring. Can he hit his 4th 3?
Mooring has been very consistent with that hot hand tonight outside. Give him the basketball. He is in a great zone from three-point land.
18 points for Mooring. He's 4 of 8 from three-point range. And we're going to get a timeout. 7:55 to go in this one. And UConn is up by 21. Tony Robertson with the finish and the technical foul. Back in Hartford, where Albert Mooring has hit on 4 of his 8 shots from behind the arc.
Done a nice job, Bob. Whenever they found him, nice pass that time by Saunders. Teammates doing a good job to get it to him. And Albert Mooring expressionless out on that court. He is in a great rhythm from three-point distance.
Now let's take a look at the Beck's Beer game summary. Fast break points. The Huskies with a 21-point advantage. They also have the edge off the offensive boards. Big night for Kareem Shabazz for Providence. Bigger night for Albert Mooring of the Huskies.
Number 55, Margero White, replacing Chris Rogers.
This is Maxey, defended by Deng. Down low, Saunders with the step in and great steal. And great athleticism to direct it to his teammate Cox. Here's Deng with the pull-up. How did that stay out?
Wow, I don't know. Went all around the rim and halfway down, but somehow found its way out under.
Right side, Jarrell Wright. Kick out Rogers for three. Tap Maxey, no good. Another putback by Maxey is good. He's got 14.
Been all inside. It's been Shabazz and Maxey, but not much from the outside tonight for the Friars.
Maxey with 14 points and 7 rebounds. He has 5 double-doubles on the year and 10 for his career. Doug Wren, left side Mooring. Down low Deng. Backing in on Shabazz, the up and under move, and then he throws it right into the hands of Common. 3 on 2 if they can get it to the middle. Jarrell Wright, left side jumper. Now that was not exactly textbook fast break, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was a quick shot by Providence. Nobody home underneath. For Connecticut, a good opportunity for Marcus Cox and Tony Robertson to get some time handling the ball with Elamina.
Saunders continues to struggle from the floor. 1 of 9.
Got to get the backboard on that one. It makes it a much easier shot if you can.
Maxey on the left to Jarrell Wright. Down low Shabazz. Backing in on Saunders, who knocks it loose from behind. And then Jody Sylvester will get a reach-in foul on the Huskies. He's got his choice. Deng will pick it up. The Huskies have been playing for some time without their best player, Khalid El-Amin, who suffered a right quad contusion on that collision with Kareem Shabazz.
You know, it does make sense too, Bob, with Shabazz 7'2", and you've got Khalid El-Amin giving up a lot of height, that his knee is not going to come in direct contact with Khalid's knee. It hits him in that lower thigh region. So as a result, he's got a tough bruise, and that'll stiffen up. That's it used to be called a Charlie horse. Now it's a contusion. But that's a painful muscle area to get that kind of a bang. Have you ever Charlie horse as a kid? That's painful.
Absolutely.
Kind of limp around for a couple
I've
days.
had a Charlie horses as an adult.
It's not just a
Sometimes
kid
doing something strenuous like getting out of the car in a hurry, or equally athletic move.
Trying to do a little stop and go move.
To learn how to stretch before you get out of the car when you get older. On the inbound, a foul on the Friars. This one will be on Jarrell Wright. Tim Welsh told me yesterday that we need Shabazz and Maxey to play well together. When they do, we can be a pretty good team. It's frustrated Tim that since getting Shabazz, that there have been very few games where he and Maxey have both played well. When Shabazz became eligible, it was the grand scheme for Providence to obviously have Shabazz play in the middle and move Murray from the center spot to the power forward, move Maxey from the big forward to the small forward. But the Friars rebounded so poorly, Welsh abandoned that plan, put Murray back on the bench, and they've struggled off the boards throughout the season.
On paper, that seems like it should work, but it just didn't get together on the floor.
Saunders finally gets his second field goal to drop. He's now 2 of 10 from the floor. And Tim Welsh will call timeout with 5:37 left, and his club down by 19.
And that might be the toughest degree of difficulty on one of Saunders' shots. Check it out, coming through the trap. I think he thought maybe he might draw a foul on that one, but nothing but net as he splices his way through that trap. Tough shot. He's playing a good floor game tonight, so good to see one drop for Saunders because he's worked hard underneath.
The Huskies have shot 38% from the floor tonight, but 12 of their 21 field goals have come off the break. Coming up next for the Friars, we mentioned earlier that return engagement with West Virginia, the second time they'll play the Mountaineers in 8 days, then at Seton Hall, a red-hot Seton Hall team. That will be next Tuesday. The Pirates will be here to play the Huskies on Sunday. Then Syracuse at home, St. John's at home, and Rutgers at home.
That's a tough stretch. Doesn't get any easier from the Friars. And when you consider the 6-game stretch having to play at Connecticut here tonight.
Friars will honor their legendary former coach Joe Mullaney at the Syracuse game on the 5th. Providence won 2 NIT championships with Joe Mullaney behind the bench in 1961-63.
One of their great all-time coaches, well known in New England, coached in the NBA for years as well.
No, I forget, where did he play his college basketball?
I believe it was some school up in Worcester. 2 words, Holy Cross.
Mr. Perry and Mr.
Greats.
Mullaney are a fellow alum of Holy Cross. Joe played on that national championship team, didn't he?
1947, yes.
A fellow by the name of Bob Cousy, I think, was on that club.
Bob Cousy led the way.
The home run pass to Maxey goes right through his hands and out of bounds. And when UConn won the national championship last March, the Huskies became the first New England team other than Holy Cross to do so.
Tim Welsh that time just looked up and clapped and said, hey, hang right in there to Kareem Shabazz. Frustrating to see some of the turnovers and play that he's seeing, but he does have his team playing hard and playing together, and I think that's all he can do right now.
Voskuhl up high, finds Saunders. 4.5 minutes remaining. UConn by 19.
No let up in this Providence defense. Give them credit. They're hanging tough, having trouble scoring, but they're not giving in this game and laying down for UConn.
And with time all the way down to, what was it, 3 on the clock, a holding foul on the Friars.
Not heads up. You work so hard there for the 32 seconds out of that 35-second shot clock. Don't foul now. Force UConn to take a tough shot. And there's the body foul. It's like Kama.
Foul was on Jamal Kama, his second. And shooting the 1-1 at the free throw line will be Albert Mooring, who picks up his 19th point of the night. Mooring was a perfect 11 for 11 from the line in the Huskies win over Georgetown last Saturday. And in that ball game, UConn made 36 free throws. That's tied for the most by any Big East team this season. So Mooring reaches the 20-point mark with 4:17 to go.
So important for UConn that Mooring is a consistent scorer each game, and he has been all year long.
Get that.
Down low, Voskuhl picks up the rebound. Lead to Mooring. 2-on-1, and great play from the weak side by Kama. Terrific hustle. Good to see that with his club down by 21. And at the other end, the foul will be called on Marcus Cox. Mooring's season high this year, 22 points. He achieved that twice, including once against Duke in game 2 of the season, the consolation game in that Coaches versus Cancer Challenge. Blue Devils haven't lost since that night, have they?
No, they're playing better and better.
They lost opening night to Stanford, Madison Square Garden, then lost to UConn, and have run the table since.
I think people got down on them when they lost early to UConn, but I'll tell you, they have come back with a vengeance, and they're looking great right now in the ACC. Nice hustle that last time by Providence. Good example of what I was just talking about with their hustles. They continue to battle in this one.
Maxey gets the rebound off the missed free throw and spins in the lane for 2 more. So 16 points and 9 rebounds for Aaron Maxey. 1 rebound shy of that double-double. And another turnover. Last touch by Mooring. We're going to take a timeout with 3:37 to go. There's the walking wounded, Freeman and El Amin. But his club, their club, is up 18. Tonight's game is brought to you by National Car Rental. What are you waiting for? Let's go. By Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. By Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And by Beck's, a beer apart. Back at the Hartford Civic Center, where defending national champion UConn with a comfortable 18-point lead over Providence. Let's take a look at our best play of the game, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
Now it's that shot by Elamine that didn't go, but Jake Voskuhl staying with it. We said rebounding, offensive boards important. Voskuhl's done that tonight, and that was a great tip-in right there. He got it to go.
Great reaction, too.
He did. He enjoyed it.
6'11" senior, Katy, Texas. Saunders and Voskuhl double Shabazz, creating the held ball. Possession arrow pointing to UConn.
Jake Voskuhl enjoyed that as well. He plays with a lot of emotion out there. Crowd loves him.
Turnover number 23 for the Friars. And now they create the turnover at the other end. Approaching the 3-minute mark. Down low. Jefferson lays it up and in. And Tim Wells calls time with 3:01 to go.
I think Robertson jumped right over him on the fake that time. Oh, man.
I once saw Scott Burrell do that in this building. He literally jumped over a Wake Forest player.
That's pretty good leaping ability.
We showed you what's coming up for Providence. How about for the Huskies? On Sunday, they'll take on Seton Hall right here. 3 o'clock start at the Civic Center. Then a visit to Villanova next week. Then that big test a week from Saturday at 8th-ranked Michigan State. Back home for Boston College. And then a return engagement with Notre Dame, who stunned the Huskies here at the Civic Center. That Notre Dame game out in South Bend already a complete sellout. Michigan State in action tonight and putting the clamps on Northwestern, huh?
Wow. 15 points into the second half for Northwestern.
Top-ranked Cincinnati up 6 over Louisville in Conference USA first half. Number 15 Tulsa leading UTEP by 4 first half.
The other thing too for Connecticut now, Bob, maybe after that loss at Syracuse, a little bit more attention might be shifted to Syracuse. Every time Connecticut goes to play anyone, let's face it, they're playing the defending national champs, everyone ready for UConn. Maybe a little of that pressure comes off after they've lost a couple of these games.
Shot clock at 10. Voskuhl finds the cutter, Robertson, and Saunders could not quite handle the rebound. Jefferson.
That was a timing thing. Saunders was ready to slam that down. I think the ball caught the rim.
Maxey misses the shot. Voskuhl pulls down the rebound. And Mr. Voskuhl has a double-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds.
Nice job. He's been all over the place. 4 corners now by UConn. They're going to try to work some clock. And for Providence, time running out on them, down 16 here.
There have been 38 field goals in this game. The two teams combining for 38 and 40 turnovers.
That's amazing right there. The ball has just been all over the place tonight. Nice drive.
Cox runs down the clock and then finishes down the lane. His Colby Cathedral team won the state championship in its classification last year. That, of course, is the alma mater of the all-time leading scorer here at UConn, Chris Smith. Mills in traffic. Down low, Maxey knocked out of bounds by the Huskies. 15 seconds left on the shot clock for Providence. And Tim Welsh will go to his bench and bring in Dante Wade, replacing Mills.
Providence is averaging 67 points a game this year. They're going to fall well short of that tonight, just at 46 right now.
It will also be the 6th time this year that they've scored 60 or less in a game. Kama beats the shot clock, no good, and Shabazz tips it up and in. And Tim Wells calls time. You know, a lot of people wonder why a coach bothers to call time in this situation. I always say, you know, the best way to practice and simulate real conditions in a game is to do it in a game.
Absolutely.
There will be a game later this season where Providence will need to call time to preserve some time on the clock and set up the defense when they're not down by 16.
And no coach is going to just say, hey, you know, we're down in the game and we're not going to play it out 110% all the way. So Tim Welsh is just playing this thing out, game conditions. We're trying to put a play down right now and just work this thing right to the final buzzer. Let's face it, with 1:11 to go, you can't make up 16 points, but nevertheless, you want to play hard and instruct all the way through. You've got a young team out there.
Tim Welsh was the coach at Iona for 3 years before coming to Providence, and in that 3-year period he led the Gales to their first NCAA appearance in some time and back-to-back NIT appearances. In his first 4 years as a collegiate head coach, he's gone to the postseason all 4 times.
Done a great job. Did a great job at Iona. He's building some things here at Providence, and he'll continue to recruit well, and he's a very good bench coach, one of the top young coaches in the league, without a doubt.
Also played on a Division III national championship team at Potsdam State. Coached by his dad, Jerry, there. And Shabazz has just fouled out of the game with 43 seconds remaining. 17 points and 6 rebounds for the 7'2" junior from Far Rockaway, New York.
Is their personal foul, 9 on the team. At the line for Connecticut and Saunders.
Well, evidently they're not calling it on Shabazz. Marcus Jefferson will pick up the foul instead. Saunders misses the free throw, and it's been that kind of night for the Friars as they combine to knock the rebound out of bounds.
Saunders shot off tonight, but I still think having his presence out there, Jim Calhoun giving him a lot of minutes, knows he needs a strong performance from Saunders as the Huskies continue in Big East play. 4 corners. This is just work the clock time now.
About a 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Really no point in fouling if you're Providence. Just play it out, play solid defense.
Shot clock now inside 10, and Robertson loses the handle of Jefferson. Now the shot clock is off. Driving is Kama, and he's fouled by Vasquez. Ron, you know what happened 45 years ago tonight in UConn basketball history? You're supposed to say, no, I don't, Bob.
Tell me about it. I'm looking over your notes.
Well, the Huskies played the Syracuse Orangemen. It was the first game ever between the two. And a young man by the name of Jim Brown scored 12 points for the Orange.
Jim Brown, I'll tell you, what a great athlete. As time goes on, you just hear more stories about him on the lacrosse field. We all know what a great football player he was. I think whatever he put his mind to, he could do it. And I definitely didn't know that.
Hits the free throw. And the Huskies will be content to just let time run down. So UConn wins it by a score of 64-50 over the Providence Friars.
Nice methodical win by Connecticut. They'll have to hope that Elamine's thigh is okay and Freeman's back with the elbow, but a good win as Connecticut bounces back with the win at home.
So UConn raises its record to 14-4, evens its Big East record at 3-3. Providence falls to 8-11, and the Friars are 1-5 in the league. Albert Mooring with 20 points for the Huskies. Jake Voskuhl 10 points and 10 rebounds. Kareem Shabazz with 17 for the Friars. So for Ron Perry, I'm Bob Picozzi. Thanks so much for joining us, and we say so long from the Hartford Civic Center, where UConn defeats Providence 64-50.